Ugh, I mean, I've had to probably make splits at this point, but I had to go check on something real quick. Here, continuing. Just because this is probably the middle of an episode, because I'm not going to interrupt this. But I know one place that's going to be a perfect stopping point. Hopefully this one's not. Hopefully I find it. I'm going to have to probably find 2 good stopping points. Anyways, Encyclopedia of Oral Tradition and Tales. Doesn't really look like an ancient manuscript at all. It's just a thick book that resembles a dictionary. Looks like it has several hundred pages. Should probably save too. It's been a while since I... A lot's happened, and I've been reading. Hopefully not too fast. Hopefully I'm not being too frantic with my reading. Ugh, do they want me to read all of it?
さあ、教材の388ページを開いてください。
Now please open your book to page 338.
I open it. Story of Koma-san, the Mermaid Savior. Is this the one we saw earlier in an earlier episode? Takes me less than 5 minutes to read the whole thing. Sum it up, a shoemaker named Koma-san buys a mermaid caught... Yes, it is. By some fishermen, spends a passionate night with her, and parts ways. Then, after some time passes, the mermaid leaves their child in custody of him. That child with supernatural powers gets a fantastic official position. There end up being rare occasions where mermaids are born to Koma-san's descendants ever since. That is the conclusion of the story. Does that name sound familiar to you? So I read of it and lift my eyes. I see that Rin-san has been observing me closely with a solemn expression and a shift in her sitting posture. Huh?
すべて読んだか。
Read it all, did you?
Oh, yes, I did.
そうか。そなたはその内容をどう思っておるか。
I see. So what did you make of the contents of such, boy?
Might I ask why your speech has gotten so old-timey?
そなたも突然タメ口で話すではないか。
Well, I will have you know that you have been talking with a sudden cross tone yourself there.
Rin-san? I end up tying up my speech again out of fear. It's not just their speech, their aura has changed. For whatever reason, they have an old-timey grace about them, which would have demeaned.
伊藤夫人と呼びなさい。
You shall refer to me as Madam Ito.
Shoot, I knew it. She's channeling that spirit. Not randomly yelling this time around, I see. Every time Madame Ito has popped up, she's been ranting and raving, so they've naturally been under the impression that was the personality this ghost was packing.
あれはどうしようもなかったのだ。完全に降霊できていない状況では、声がなかなか届かないのだ。
There was nothing much I could have done about that. If I am not being channeled in a complete manner, then it takes quite an amount of effort for my voice to be heard.
So in other words, they've been conveying the spirit's words like they're shouting from end to end in a baseball field this entire time. Because the channeling hasn't been stable enough. Also, does that mean she's in complete control of her body now? BAD is a tough occupation. The world sure can be tough in general. Anyhow, Ito, Madam Ito, this tale I just read is it...
この村とは何の関係もなく、遠く離れた地方に伝わる説話。そう決めつけるのも無理ない。それほど昔の話だ。
It is a tale passed down in an area far away. Unrelated to this village, assuming that to be the case is not unreasonable. That is how far back this story goes.
Something popped up, sorry. It's like, what?
だが、ここに書かれている記録と照らし合わせると、この村にその子孫がいようが、全くおかしいことではない。
Hopefully nothing goes wrong with the recording.
But if you were to compare things with what is recorded down here, it would not be odd at all if there were a descendant of his here in this village.
Ma'am tramples over my expectations of the next thing she busts out being an old book you would see on Antiques Roadshow by instead pulling out what seems to be a notebook from the 1970s. It's an insult to call that thing a publication. Not only that, but I can't read it because it's written entirely in kanji. I'm sorry, this will be humanity's domain.
村でシャーマンをしていたコマさんの家系の老人が書いたものだ。
This here was written by an old man from Kumasan's lineage who served as a shaman.
内容は大したものではない。その説話と同じようなことが書かれており、ただその子孫の一部がこの近辺に定着したという言葉が追加されているだけだ。
The content of this book isn't anything special. It basically covers the same ground as that tale. But the only thing added is that it mentions a branch of his family stuck around in these here parts.
Could this be Ion's grandpa? If it is, did he make this record for his descendants? But the content in here.
本当に説話と関係があるのかはわからないが、ここで起こっている事態とこの説話に書かれている状況がとても似ているとは思わないか？
Is my ear bleeding? I feel wet. Something feels wet on my ear. Oh no. Getting dry skin.
I don't know if it really has any connection to the tale, but don't you reckon that what's happening here and what's written in the story have an uncanny resemblance?
ならば、ここに登場する人魚とこの村に登場する人魚が似ていても全く問題ないのだ。
I might have to pause again.
In which case, even a mermaid that appears in here and a mermaid that appears in this village resembling each other, you won't turn any heads at all.
Okay, hold on. Pause a second. I don't know what's going on. That's weird. Hopefully the recording's not kerfuffled. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I'm worried, I'm concerned, I'm scared. In which case,
Even a mermaid that appears in here and a mermaid that appears in this village resembling each other, it wouldn't turn any heads at all.
I can't do it. Dealing with her is hard. Conversing with such a high-class oh, my eyes. Anachronistic person is proving it to be impossible. Oh, God. Ugh. Talking with someone so rude in the realm of humanities and not the least bit scientific is the polar opposite of scientific. Ugh, sucks. According to the lore, mermaids have supernatural powers, or so it's written. That's right, it's just an old folk tale, pure fantasy. Trying to apply this to reality is simply absurd. Says the one living with a mermaid. Admittedly, I kind of already lost my argument once these mermaids started sprouting up. Exactly.
神通力。彼らはそんなもの明らかに持っていなかった。だが
Supernatural powers, they clearly didn't have anything like that, but...
The man looks me in the eyes and says,
未来を変える程度のことはできる。
Where? Changing the future is a task they are quite capable of.
I knew that this priestess was a sham, but this is getting out of hand. The lineage of Koma-san who once lived in this village. What I'm being told is that Ion's family has mermaid blood flowing through them, like in the story. This means there's a rare chance a child is born that will turn into a mermaid. That's right, a mermaid won't be born, but a child who can turn into a mermaid. The child will be the same as any other child until a certain point in their life, but it's once in a lifetime. A turning point in their lives falls upon them. But apparently that point in their life differs depending on the person, and the gap between individuals is large. Does that by any chance mean
人魚になるかならないかということだ。
It means whether they do or do not turn into a mermaid.
Oh, science. Your faithful son is being led astray and betraying you. For I am now listening to this occult tale, one that has no scientific merit whatsoever, completely earnestly. Whatever shall I do? Apparently that time comes without warning. Children will end up seeing someone's destined future one day without warning. Well, that means Pitaka was related to Ion in some way, whether distantly or closely. Interesting. According to what I'm told, that future is literally a destined future, and exerting effort to change it only causes that future to happen. Even if you exert no effort toward it, that future will simply happen as if it's the natural course. To summarize it, you seeing that future is what ends up making it predestined. That's the kind of future we're talking about. The madam calls it premonition. Stop this. can do without the suspicious sounding lingo. Please explain it to me as scientifically as you can.
ここで子供は分かれ道に立たされるのだ。
Puberty?
This is where children are made to stand at a crossroad.
Ma'am slightly raised the tone of her voice for some reason. Could it be that she's enjoying this explanation she's giving?
予知をしてしまった子供は分かれ道に立つ。その予知した未来を変えるか、それとも放っておくか。
Children that have these premonitions stand at a crossroad. Don't. Will they change the future of their premonition, or will they leave it to be?
Wasn't it an unchangeable premonition?
最後まで聞け。
Heed my story, Tillian boy.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, this ghost isn't someone I'm a fan of.
予知とはそれを見てしまったことによって決まってしまう個人の運命、そして未来。
Mirai, future.
A premonition is an individual fate and future, determined by the fact that they have seen that's a premonition.
If you wish to change it, if you wish to change it, then there's only one way. Don't tell me it's.
そうだ、人魚になることだ。
True, Rob. No. Oh yes, it is by becoming a mermaid.
Is she saying that mermaids are creatures that change their foretold future? In that case, the mermaids of this village is Poseidon. Who would have knew? No, that is that Poseidon was really a Masusawa the whole time. Greek legend shares something I'll tell you.
正確には予知した未来を変えた子供が副作用で人魚になってしまうということだ。
I was gonna say that's what sounds more like they change their future and then the curse is inflicted.
To be more accurate, a child that has changed their foretold future becomes a mermaid as a side effect.
Why do they turn into mermaids once they change their foretold future? Can't say that I can find the correlation at all.
予知した未来は決まっている未来。それを無理やり変えようとする者は人間の視覚を失い、自身の未来を失うことになる。
The foretold future is a predestined future. Whoever so tries to change it by force loses their qualification as humans and loses their own future.
So, yeah. Ion had to make a decision that resulted in her... I have a theory! I don't know if I should share it or not. Flash it on the screen! If you don't want to hear my theory, Mona, somebody flash it! This timestamp to the next timestamp. Alright, my theory. She didn't want Hiroto left, and he was gone for such a long time, and she was wanting to see him again, and as a result, her wish was to see Hiroto again, even though, like, she was never going to see Hiroto again, but in order to see him again, she had to become a mermaid, and thus is some sort of whimsical, godly, magical correlation. This caused Hiroto to come back to his hometown because she turned into a mermaid and changed fate or something to that effect, but at the cause of the curse. Resume! I don't know, just because maybe that might seem... It seems really spoilery, so I didn't know if I should if I should block it off or not.
本
Let
来
me
な
know
ら
if I'm true.
未来を失った後は消えてしまうだけの存在だが、失うものはただ人間としての未来だけ。すなわち
Normally, after losing your future, you exist only to fade away. But in this case, the only thing you would lose is your future as a human, which would mean...
Because a part of the blood flowing through her is of mermaid descent, her future as a mermaid remains, and she can survive regardless.
血の一部というよりは魂の一部が人魚なのだ。このような現象は体ではなく魂に刻まれるものである。そして生き残るわけではない。少しの猶予が生まれるだけだ。
Went from chasing and running from boars to now this is crazy slow. Nothing wrong with that. It's just I was not settled down ready for this. Oh great, my head's starting to hurt. Less do with a part of her blood and more about part of her soul being a mermaid. This sort of phenomenon is ingrained in the soul, not the body. Indent. I don't know why it keeps doing that. That's weird. Also, it is not that she survives. All it does is make a bit of a postponement. That is all. A little bit more of this, and a war between creationism and the theory of evolution will break out.
なぜ人魚の子孫がこのような能力を持ってしまったのかはわからぬ。だが彼らがここに存在することは明らかだ。
I am not privy as to why a mermaid's descendants end up having this kind of ability, but it is pretty clear that they exist here. So, I'm getting is that in order to create a human that's able to change the future, the gods or deities ending up forcing their way into affairs and bestow them that power in Koma-san's mermaid blood mixed lineage, right? Something make it distort deities. But Amito has a look on her face that says, "Oh ho, this kid is none too shabby."
神の存在を認めるということか？そなたは絶対そうしないと思っていたが。
Oh, so you mean you admit deities exist? I definitely would not have expected that from you. Well, you are right here before my very eyes, are you not? You, a life form known as a deity who lives like this, there is a possibility that you are a life form impossible to observe via modern science as well, but I do not admit I believe in God, a divine creator, and souls or whatever. Or maybe you're a form of hysteria generated in humans, or your nanomachines created by advanced science, endowed with artificial intelligence that can enter a human body. Given my thought process, you can see I am an evolutionist. Entities that can't be observed via modern-day science. Entities that are said to be omnipotent. Entities where a certain sect of people clamor on about being able to see, hear, and sense them, whereas they go objectively unobserved otherwise. If we assume that we have that sort of entity on our hands, it would be pointless debate. You have to consider that it's currently impossible to prove that fact that they exist or don't exist. It's a Schrodinger's cat. That's why I don't feel like talking about things of that nature. It's pointless.
ミコの恒例を SF 的に茶化すな。
Don't make a priest of channeling out to be some science fiction hoax!
Pretty sure Rinsan is saying that. Ah, so it seems that unless they do a clean tag in, the one that's not active will end up screaming like this. Priestesses are mysterious creatures.
それについてはお答えできない。スルーすることにしよう。
I am afraid all I can say to that is no comment. Let us look past that and move on. What are you, a shady entrepreneur? Quit screwing around, this is why you high-class types get on my nerves.
説明を続けよう。未来を変えないことを選んだ子供はそのまま成長すると言われている。謎の熱を帯びたまま。
I shall continue with my explanation. They say that any child that chooses to not change their future will proceed to grow up with a mysterious zeal about them. Zeal? Didn't mean to click so fast. It's apparently something akin to a spiritual perception. They can see ghosts and hear them speak. Ooh, so you, too, could have been a mermaid, but you chose not to, and thus are a medium, maybe? Also, it means that unless they channel spirits and switch over to being pieces, their lives will be in utter chaos. Meaning,
正式な手順も踏まずに勝手に降霊をするということだ。おそらく予知をしてしまったことであの世と近づいてしまったからではないかと思うが。
Ugh. Meaning that they channel spirits of their own accord without going through the proper procedures. Indent. Though I think it might be because that by having their premonition they end up getting close to the great beyond. Wait, you're not saying that.
リンちゃんは未来を変えないことを選んだのであろう。その代わり予知した未来を失ったのだ。
Rin-chan likely chose to not change their future. In exchange, they lost their total future. Now that she mentions it, Rin-san's full name is Rinkoma, isn't it? She a relative of Ion's? Never would have guessed that Ion's family is so spread out in this village. More importantly, Rin-chan, eh? Spirits are more friendly than I thought. Rather than calling her a god or a deity, I guess you could say she's a life form closer to a ghost. So if you channel a spirit in that way, you can see the future?
まさか。
Oh, come now, child.
ただ運勢を見たり除霊を行う存在に過ぎない。
Ugh. All you end up doing is telling fortunes and conduct exorcisms, nothing more, nothing less. So basically a regular old priestess. How oddly realistic. Deities aren't all they're cracked up to be, I guess. Maybe they're no different from ghosts after all. Now you're saying you believe in ghosts. Ha ha! Ghostbusters. Children choosing to not change their future become priestesses, while those who do become mermaids. Would have no problem at all if that were all there was to the story, but so is that it?
ん
Children who choose to change their future become mermaids, and that's it? Just turn into mermaids? And that's the end of it. No. No, it can't be. There's no way. If that were the case, there would be no problem to begin with.
未来を変えると言っても人魚になった瞬間未来が変わるわけではない。
Well, I did say that they would change their future. That does not mean that their future changes the second that they become a mermaid.
人間としての未来を捨て人魚になったことで誰かの決められた未来を変えることのできる権利を手にしただけ。
The only thing that happens once they abandon their future as a human and become a mermaid is that they gain the privilege to change someone's determined
未来を
future.
変えることになる決定的な行動ができるその時が来るまで少なくとも人魚本人の過去は失われない。生きてきた過去は忘れないまま生き続けることができる。
Until the time comes where they can act definitively towards changing the future, the mermaids themselves will not be robbed of their past. At the very least, they'll be able to continue living with the past that they have lived through it. Their memories. Go ahead. I was reading it, but I was not understanding. If they lose their future and are forgotten by everyone, the mermaid themselves will change their memories of the past. The people that they met anew will most likely be unable to remember that mermaid until that time comes. So in that case,
未来を変えるための行動を始めた時から人魚は少しずつ自分の過去も失い始める。
mermaids start to lose their past little by little once they start the process to change their
そし
future.
て未来を変えるまさにその日が来たら人魚は全てを失い全てに忘れられ泡になって消えてしまうのだ。
And once that day when they change their future comes, mermaids lose everything, are forgotten by all, turn into bubbles and disappear off the
遠
face
い
of the
国の
earth.
童話のように
Just like the fairy tales of lands far away. Like the Little Mermaid. The
未来を
actual
失
story
っ
of the
た
Little
ものは
Mermaid.
存在しないのだから。
By Hans Christian Andersen. Not Disney! That Little Mermaid, the original story. She turned sea foam. Was not the happy ending, ending up with her prince. Just because those who have lost their futures cease to exist. I listened to what else they have to say after that as well. Mermaids don't last in most people's memories unless you continually see them, even before they start changing the future. If you leave the village or go far away, then they're as good as done for. Similar to how you can't remember dreams once you wake up. You'll completely vanish from the pages of your memories. The reasons why the villagers don't remember yet don't find the presence of mermaids strange is probably because they run into Patako so frequently. And even with that, they are simply subconsciously recognizing her. They are unable to actually recall her from memory. For I'm told, in order to keep their memories of Ion and Patako, Rin-san went to go see the two every day. Due to the both of them being in the Koma lineage, they're able to remember for a longer time than anyone else, which allowed them to take care of the two of them. Rin-san is a nicer individual than I would have expected. Well, maybe. If that's the case, then why do I still remember Ion? It's that thing I said. It's that thing I said. Because he's somehow relevant to her curse. I'm not part of the Koma family tree, and I've been estranged from Ion for 10 whole years. That or they're distantly cousins and they didn't know it. That might make this story awkward if it turns into a romance.
イオンさんが変えた未来がヒロトさんの未来ということです。
Oh. Okay, that's slightly different from what I thought, but still similar.
That would be because the future that Ion-san changed was yours, Hiroto-san.
I descend the mountain dumbfounded. The explanation I receive is straight out of a fantasy without a single speck of scientific basis to be had. If that is the truth, however, it's an explanation that I can come to accept. So then there is no way out of this. Ion is eventually going to.
なくはないです。
I would say there is a way.
And Sun pulls out a crumpled piece of paper. 1. Stop them and ensure they're unable to change the future. 2. The target having their future changed links the future to the mermaid and offers a piece of their future to them. Wait, what? Rav! True, Rav! So they have to fall in love. What does this mean?
この村の日常生活が記録されていたノートの最後に書かれていた漢文を解析したものです。私の判断では人魚たちは間違いなくこの内容を知っているでしょう。
I had to decipher it due to all the kanji, but this is from the last entry written in a notebook that logged daily life in the village. From what I could tell, mermaids know about what this entails for sure.
記録者がシャーマンだったとすると、その人は人魚になることを拒否し、それによって予知した未来が記憶から消える前に必死に記録したのではないかと思います。
If the person logging was the shaman, I believe that they refused to become a mermaid, and before the foretold future was wiped from their memories, they desperately tried to keep a record of it.
そして本人すらも何のことだか忘れてしまったのでしょう。
Then the person themselves probably ended up forgetting what any of this event meant.
That person really was Ion's grandpa. I've never met him before, but I have a feeling that he'd be the type to do that. That would also mean that Ion gets her Koma mermaid blood from her mother, not her father. After all, I don't remember a thing about Ion's mother. Ooh, interesting. All I remember is that Ion's dad passed away. Still, what does this mean?
2つ目の方法については私もわからないのです。漢文の解釈を間違えたのでしょうか。
Yeah, it's kind of too late
け
for
れ
the
ど
first one, probably.
1つ目の方法は
As for the second method, I am not sure myself. Perhaps I misinterpreted the kanji rundown. But as for the first method...
Sure that goes unchanged.
もし未来を変えようとする人魚を止めるならば、そうして未来を変えられないようにするならば、
If you stop a mermaid from trying to change the future, then if you were to make it so they can't change the future, then...
Then?
どんな未来も得ることができずに生きることになりますが、泡になって消えることは少なくともないでしょう。あのかわいそうな子供のように。
Oh, that's what happened to Patako.
They will end up living without being able to attain any sort of future. But they will at least go without turning into bubbles and disappearing. Just like that poor little child.
Patako, huh? So that means that Patako had the privilege to change the future, but wasn't able to change the future. Is that why no one can remember her? She can't remember anyone, and she just lives for the sake of living, day in, day out, relying solely on whatever vague thoughts pop into her head like in a dream. Does this also mean that Patako would completely forget me if I don't come to see her for a few days? Ayan is likely well aware that she'll turn out like this. However, she wouldn't tell me anything. That is, the mermaids, Ayan and Patako, they know about that method, right? If they know that doing that will prevent them from disappearing, then why?
すべてを諦めてでも変えたい未来だからですよ。
Because they have a future they want to change, even if it means giving up everything.
自分の未来を捨ててでも。
Even if it means giving up their own futures.
Once we reach a moderately safe area, Rinsun gives me the flashlight and makes their way back to the shrine. The fact that I am only one who remembers Ayan's childhood in this village is a matter worthy of a special mention. And Ayan has been trying to change my future, apparently. Why exactly? What is this future that Ayan wants to change? What kind of future did she see for me for her to spend that much effort? Either him dying, or especially because I don't remember how this game started. Like, clearly he was saved from her. Was that the moment, that very moment when he fell into the pond, is that when she turned into a mermaid and saved him? That one split second? What kind of future did she see for me for her to spend that much effort? Would I be unable to find work, so I spend my days as some deet sipping instant coffee in the corner of my room? Maybe I have bad taste in women, get ensnared by a gold-digging snakely, and end up some pathetic old man. Or maybe I awaken to my mad scientist side. Yes. Have the government on my heels and rebuild myself as a cyborg. If none of that is the case, then I've seen Ayan's legs go back to normal a handful of times. Right. So that wasn't just some delirium or something that was actually happening. Could it be that each time I've been unconsciously stopping Ayan from changing the future? Because I'm stopping her from changing the future, she's temporarily turning back into human form? Gotta find a correlation. But what exactly have I been doing? No, upon further thought, Patako has stayed in mermaid form. Attempts at changing the future being stopped turns you back into a human, then Patako would have turned back into a human as well. This is giving me a headache. Man, why is Ayan meddling in other people's futures like this? Is it so bad that you turn into a mermaid and lose your future? As I think of that to myself, I see that I've made home without falling down once. Was it because he was bashing his head and he almost died? Wow, the unconscious mind is something else. But was he at death's door? Was death rubbing his shoulders and be like, yes, you will see me soon if you keep this up. It's already dawn. The sun turns the eastern part of the sky a faint blue as it pokes its face over the horizon. Where's the mouse? I'm blind. Ayan lies asleep, clueless. The overgrown Masu salmon sleeps with an expression that doesn't give off the impression she's got anything on her mind. She's actively trying to change my future. She also has been remaining silent in order to prevent anyone stopping her plan. Oh, man. Why I do this? Mumbled to myself, stroking Ayan's sleeping face. Let's list a few possibilities. One, Patako is dumb by default and Ayan is just suffering from a little amnesia. Rinsun and Madame Ito are lying. As outrageous as it may be, this is the most desirable circumstance that I can currently think of. In this case, my big adventure from last night till this morning has been a matter of me misconstruing everything, willingly giving ammunition to Rinsun to bait me with. No grand and idiotic display and bound to get me teased for the next 30 years or so, but I have a forgiving heart, so I am confident that I can come to laugh off and overcome such a future should I ever need to. Two, if last night's story is remotely close to the truth, then starting now until the day comes where Anne tries to change the future, I need to support Ayan as she proceeds to lose her memories. Unearth the future she's been trying to change and put a stop to it. If I'm unable to do that, I will have to take the plunge into the unscientific and implausible, even by quantum theory standards, task of trying to link my future with Ayan, who is losing her own. Love. That one sounds the simplest. Even though I need to observe that scientific important phenomenon in action right now, I'm the test subject. I'm the target in this clinical study. The experimental guinea pig of the bacteria being multiplied in the petri dish and covered in penicillin, the refuse of this world. Now what do I do? It's always 30 seconds after I wake up, my thinking speed exceeds the speed of sound with the greatest of ease. Or I could get rid of the side effects of all my thoughts being smothered by the intense desire to procreate. Whoa, slow down, what? If only I could get rid of the side effect of all my thoughts being smothered by the intense desire to procreate the moment I open my eyes. I think I'd have a technique worth developing. Okay, time to open my eyelids and have a warm reunion with the morning sun. I think I'm gonna stop it here. I'm so tired, and it's been well over an... Oh my god, this third one's 36. Oh my god, no! Alright, yeah, I'm calling it. I'm calling it here. I'll make another save file. I need sleeps. That's been long enough. This is definitely not gonna be one video, but oh my god, I don't know how... None of that, that was a lot of info, and that does not seem like a good place. There does not seem like a good midway between that whole story and stuff with the priestess. So I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. I'm sure they'll turn off people because it's too long. Oh, I hope not. Hopefully people watching, I'm sorry it's so long. It's not my fault, I swear. Excuse me. But anyways, definitely end it off now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this so far. I hope you're looking forward to more, and I hope you have a lovely day and evening. And until next time, whatever I may do, I hope to see you then. Farewell!